Welcome back, friends. Lost Guy fan. It's time for more The Great Ace Attorney. Here we go. I already forgot. What was it? Oh, right. The prosecution has established the accused's motive, opportunity, and baseness of character. There is nothing more to add. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I await your informed decisions, and rest my case. Rabble, 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 rabble. I don't believe it. I had the jury on my side for once for all of 5 minutes. Oh dear, it wasn't even 5 minutes, Bruno. My lord. Wonder if I might say something at this point. Proceed, Mr. Foreman. Been stumbling about in a bit of a fog up to now, if truth be told, but all of a sudden... The answer's barely obvious to me and my men. There's only one thing for me. For it. Oh no! Very well, the court will hear from the jury. Ladies and gentlemen, you will present your pleadings as to the defendant's culpability.
Guilty.
Here we go again.
Guilty.
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 I gotta draw you bitches back again? Alright. Uses his damn head. He's keeping his hands sterile. Problem is, he's been out in the air, so, you know, those hands ain't sterile anymore. We have a consensus among the jury, it seems. When you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth. That's my wine. I wrote that for Howie. Huh, how dare he use it against us? Oh my god. Don't worry, Iris. I don't think we're finished yet. There's still more to this case than we realize. There must be, because there's one thing that I'm absolutely certain of. Gina didn't shoot Mr. Windybank. That's beyond any doubt. Very well. We will proceed with the second summation examination of the day. Wait, did we ask for it? We didn't, but they just assumed we're going to do it, I guess. Because we are. Mr. Foreman, are you and the other jurors ready? Guard of Squadron is primed and ready for action, sir. Very well. So, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will each explain on what grounds you have now determined the defendant to be guilty. Here we go again. The jurors' contentions. Once a rogue is a rogue, I say, Different breed to us law-abiding citizens. As only 2 bullets were found at the scene, I would say the whole case is done and dusted. There it is. You don't need a stereoscope to see the truth here. Every which way you look at it, it was the pickpocket. I never imagined that simple operation would cause me such grief. The accused attempted a theft on the previous day, and I can see I'm in for a busy day ahead. I'm Ballistics Expert. I am Ballistics Expert. I have seen many shootings. There is nothing I do not know about guns. Alright. Okay, that's gonna be interesting. It would seem there is little remaining room for doubt. I have to admit, I was rather bowled over by the argument put forward by the chap in black. But when that fell apart like a house of cards, I saw that I jolly well have been hoodwinked. That's not the right voice. Well, no more. There we go. The whole courtroom is turning against me. It's not fair. Iris? That prosecutor's being mean. Just because Ginny's done some things she shouldn't have done in the past, that doesn't make her a murderer. Don't care drinking wine. Allow me to savor this fruity vintage while I savor the spectacle of your fruitless debate on the matter. Here's to the truth coming out, eventually. That's enough preamble. Counsel, proceed with the summation examination. Slap! Woo! Never doing that to myself. Never doing that. That looks like it hurts like a bitch. Yes, my lord. Like, I just feel like you're just gonna ram your teeth into your cheek. The defense's rebuttal. There we go. Time to press.
Hold it!
Just because Miss Lestrade has a history of pickpocketing, she must be guilty of murder, is that what you're saying? Oh, well. Are all members of the British Army so quick to judge? I beg your pardon? Are you mocking Her Majesty's Armed Forces, the greatest military organization in the world? No, I'm simply illustrating my point. Making assumptions about people because they're a soldier or a pickpocket is wrong and dangerous. Huh, well, yes, might have a point there, I suppose. But let's not forget the lady had already shown she had it in her from before. She's clearly a criminal sort through and through. Can't deny it. When you say that she'd shown she had it in her, are you referring to this? Exactly. Tried to swipe that only a day earlier, Or am I mistaken? Not exactly. Given that I was actually there at the time, it's hard to refute that. I've never actually seen the real thing. I can't wait to have a closer look at it. Oh yes, of course. We already did. I already did it. Mr. Sholmes did use this caramel bars to make a copy of the disc, didn't he? And then ordered every type of music box he could find from across Europe. We still don't know what tune it plays though, do we? But I wanted to see how the original compares to Hurley's copy. McGilded's disc. Could it be a clue somehow? Perhaps we should examine it in more detail. I already did! I don't think it's relevant to this guy, but still, we did. I do know that that proves there's a third bullet, because that's not Hurley's blood.
Hold it!
It's the number of bullets that has you convinced. Only 2 bullets were fired, and the 2 guns that fired them have been examined by the police. When the parlor maid asks me how many are invited for dinner, I always tell her to count the table settings. I think Gina shot the dude. Well, that's logical, I suppose. Although, yes, sometimes after dinner, crockery does go missing. 1 or 2 guests rather like the fine china. That's actually a clue when you think about it. Does your employer dine with thieves? So I suppose. If there was another bullet somewhere of which we were unaware. Yeah, it's in Hurley. I'd have to reconsider my position. A third bullet somewhere on the scene? Could that be possible? I don't think we can prove it yet. Can we? Can we prove it yet? We might be able to prove it. Let me save here. Wouldn't have save states, so these are my save states, basically. Alright, let's see if we can do it now. I can prove it. Allow me to show you, then, the third bullet. Okay, we're doing this. Let's see if it works.
Take that!
No, it didn't work. I, don't suppose this works. You pass for a bullet as much as you pass for a lawyer, my learned friend. Yeah, okay. Coming from you, I'm going to take that as meaning not much. Yeah, okay. In no way does it resemble a bullet, if that helps your understanding of my last remark. Counselor's very... Okay, let's see if this will work. Okay, go back.
Hold it!
See if we can do this or not. Hold on. We have to do a train of thought to get to that third bullet. The question is this where we start the train of thought? I can prove it. Right here.
Take that!
No, it doesn't work! Okay, pull out. How do we find a way to... It's impossible. Unfortunately, only 2 bullets were discovered by the police during that investigation. Yes, I know. Right. And I don't imagine the good men of Scotland Yard would have overlooked anything. If I missed a bullet while I was cleaning his lordship's office, well... I should receive a sound scolding, I doubt. And he should receive a visit from the police, perhaps. It sounds like a crime scene to me. A third bullet. It would completely turn things around if there was one, wouldn't it? Do you think we might find one lying around somewhere? It's lying around inside a dude. Alright. So if I've understood correctly, you need two pictures, a left eye and a slightly different right eye one. Exactly! Then you can see the scene in 3 dimensions. Like this. So if we have 2 bullets, I don't suppose you can see anything useful with them? I think you'll find that no matter how much you squint, the truth of the situation always looks the same here. The only person who could have shot the victim is that girl in the dock. How can you be so sure of that? Think about it. The Skeleton brothers shot the great detective, didn't they? Yes, that's been mentioned once or twice. Well then, surely it's coming from into focus now, isn't it? This is a waste of time. I'm not going to change this man's mind anytime soon. Did he work on Sholmes? Would you please stop muttering about things that have nothing to do with this trial, sir? The defendant's life is on the line here. Well, the thing is, I couldn't really say that it has nothing to do with this trial, to be honest. Huh? I mean, there's no question that the man was shot, but the bullet had simply vanished from his stomach. It's quite inexplicable, don't you think? I almost don't want to ask, but this surgery you've been muttering about all this time, you were operating on... What was the feather's name now? Herlick? No, Herlock. No, Hairlock? Herlock Sholmes, by any chance? Yes, good lord. It was that Hairlock fella. What? You're the surgeon operating on Mr. Sholmes? That's right, using the very latest anesthesia techniques, I might add. It was a fairly major op, I can tell you. I like this voice better. This is crazy. So did he leave a scalpel in there? Let me see, the fella was brought in not long after midnight, if I remember correctly. They said he'd been shot by some criminal or other, so I opened him up like a shot. But the funny thing is, I went over his insides with a fine-tooth comb and couldn't find the bullet anywhere. So I'm afraid I had to throw up my hands and just stitch the fella back up. I hate to state the obvious, but... Yes? Surely that's because the bullet is still at the scene of the shooting? The counsel for the defense is correct. As is clearly shown in the photographic print. The bullet that the Skulkin brothers fired at Mr. Sholmes hit him in the stomach region. Then exited his body and lodged into the shop wall where the calendar was hanging on the door. I think you'll find it's really quite simple if you just consider the problem 3-dimensionally. Huh, who do you think I am, son? Well, juror number 4 is about the best I can do. If it went through Sholmes, it would have gone through his back as well. That's the thing. As soon as I saw the wound to the man's stomach, I flipped him over. Like a pancake? Are you saying that you checked his back? Of course I did. And there wasn't a trace of injury. No sign that the bullet had left the body at all. What? Ah, there it is. That's the point! The only logical conclusion was that the bullet was still somewhere in the man's innards. Which is exactly why I said about slicing him up. And I'm still none the wiser even now. How many times do I have to say it? Can somebody please explain how it happened? Can somebody please solve the mystery? It's almost as much of a mystery as how this jury was put together. The mystery where the bullet ended up is infuriating. Where's an expert when you need one? Oh, well... Hold on a second, let's go here. Mr. Sholmes, surgeon, is on the jury? I've experienced some coincidence recently, but this is ridiculous. That may surprise anyone. But there's no question that Mr. Sholmes was shot. Well, that's what the police told me when they brought him in. How bad were his injuries, Doctor? He was in a bad way. He'd lost a huge amount of blood, you know. And I suspect he was shot at quite close range, too. Because his skin was badly burnt around the point of entry. Burnt? As I said, I flipped the fella over and examined his back, and there was no sign of an exit wound. Which is why I thought I'd better locate the lug and pop it out. And yet you say you found no bullet inside the patient? Well, I wouldn't have done, would I? Because it's in the wild of pawnbrokers. But how did it get there? I need someone to solve this mystery before it drives me to insanity. If only there was some expert in ballistics who could help, even if he looked extremely untrustworthy. Oh my god, they just on the nose! So we have a disappearing bullet on our hands. Huh. I don't even know what this is going to be about.
Hold it!
What do you mean you're in for a busy day? Forgot to say, stop. Do not excuse me. Do excuse me, stop. I'm my communications officer, stop. A communications officer? Does that have something to do with sending telegrams? Everything from personal messages written by members of the public to the latest news in the capital. I convert all the messages into Morse code and tap it out to the entire world electronically. To the entire world? Thousands of miles of cable under the sea, stop. Worldwide communication network, stop. Information transmitted to and from all corners of the globe, stop. Ah, yes. She was getting equally worked up about radio waves or the like before, wasn't she? Specialized in communicating information from government departments and newspapers offices. I see. I'm sure I shall have to wire the newspaper reports of today's guilty verdict later. So no sleep for me tonight, I imagine. Let's just finish the trial first, shall we? Got nothing wrong with this guy.
Hold it!
I thought you were just a tourist. I like the rat follows along too. Oh my god. Good day. I am visiting London for sightseeing. I would like to take bus to Crystal Tower, please. There's no way he's just a visiting tourist. So you're a ballistics expert? Who knew? I have much experience with guns and killing people. Oh, ah. I have lived through many, how do you say, extreme, violent, path of, no, blood of, extreme violent bloodbaths, perhaps. Ah, those! Extreme violent bloodbaths. English is very difficult tongue. Considering the sort of people you associate with, I'm surprised you still have a tongue. Anyway, if you have questions about bullets and guns, you ask me. There is nothing I do not know. A mystery I cannot solve. He's very confident in his knowledge of guns, that's for sure. But if possible, please, only in Russian language. He's not very confident in his knowledge of English, though, is he? No, still, we should bear it in mind. He's our man if there's a mystery about guns or bullets. Von Zeeks has managed to convince everyone. When you have one made impossible, he said, but he hasn't. If we're going to fight back, we need more material. We have to fight back. We have to turn this trial around again. It's time! Oh yeah, just hit pit. There.
Objection!
Here we go. These two statements clearly contradict. The idea that all I do is pit jurors against each other. Don't! Wait, how do I do this? I'm a ballistics expert. Pitting. On the night in question, Mr. Sholmes was shot by one of the Skulkin brothers. But since there was no sign of an exit wound on his back, we must assume the bullet didn't pass through him. However, no bullet was found lodged in Mr. Sholmes' body either. Furthermore, a bullet was found lodged in the wall of the shop where Mr. Sholmes was shot. Juror number 6. Hello, my name is Villain. Pleased to meet you. This apparent contradiction in the facts that is so clearly troubling juror number 4. Are you able to explain the mystery? I have seen very similar situation in Motherland. Huh? It was night. There was blizzard. I was running away along mountain road in freezing cold. Golly! The snow was piling high on both sides of road. It was very narrow and dangerous. Our pursuers had hunting rifles and they were on dog sleds. Mental note, don't ask too many questions. I was shot from behind and I fell down in the snow. And the situation was very similar to what I hear today from Doctor. They could not find bullet in my body. And no sign of, how do you say, exit wound? Then where did the bullet go? Bullet never hit me. Well, if it never hit him, then why did it fall down? Well, why did you fall down? Bullet hit frozen wall of ice, very close to my side. What? One small piece, very sharp, broke away from lump of ice and pierced my body. It made deep wound that looks like, just like bullet wound. Good gracious. Of course, piece of ice quickly melted inside me. And that's the solution to mystery of disappearing bullet. That doesn't answer the question at all. Huh? The shooting happened in a pawnbroker shop. That's some snowy mountain road in another country. Where them sounds are going? Just an idea, but we might not be looking at exactly the same scenario here. Oh no. What exactly was Howie shot again? Well, according to the report, in his stomach. Sort of around this area, I think. Well, that's precisely why he always wears a little pouch on his belt. A pouch? Actually, I might have noticed something like that. Yes, a pouch. It's where he keeps his 3 glass vials of very dangerous chemicals he uses in investigations. What? Really? Doctor! Where is the pouch Mr. Sholmes was wearing? The fellow had nothing like that on his person when he arrived at the hospital, as far as I remember. If I may? Lord Von Zeeks? While I realize it is forbidden for the prosecution to interject during a summation examination, I should inform the defense that I have the pouch in question in the antechamber outside the courtroom. Sorry? As I understand it, when the police arrived on the scene and found Mr. Sholmes injured, they removed the pouch in order to assess the wound. Ah, thank goodness! I thought I was getting forgetful for a moment. Since then, it has been in my safekeeping along with all other evidence relating to the case. I can personally vouch for the fact that it has not been touched since the incident occurred. Very well. While extremely unconventional during a summation examination, I must demand that prosecution present the item in question with all speed. Bring forth Herlock Sholmes's pouch. But I'm drinking my wine. I see. So this is the pouch worn by Mr. Sholmes on the night in question, is it? Look at it! One of the vials is broken. One of the files is broken, and the leather around it is scorched black. It's almost as if the file exploded. Exploded? So that night, the bullet from the Skulkin brothers' gun struck Mr. Sholmes' pouch. And it was the glass vial exploding that caused the fellow's injury. This bullet did not penetrate victim, but was deflected into wall of shop. A delightfully complex aroma. Well, it would appear one mystery has been solved at least. Though it has no bearing on the truth of this case. The bungling and burgling brothers shot the detective, and the accused shot the pawnbroker. The pertinent facts of the case remain unaltered. But at least the mystery is solved. I can sleep easy tonight. Thank you, young man. Thank you very much. Glad I could help. Due to its bearings on the conundrum just solved, the court will sequester the scruffy pouches of evidence. Oh, his pouch isn't scruffy. Sholmes' pouch has been added. Now, take a look at this thing. Immediately. Now to summation examination. It would appear the defense is somewhat struggling to alter opinion. No, take a look at this. Take a look at this. Examine. Find a bullet. There's the bullet. There it is. Found it. His grandfather's are for his homemade potions. Homemade? Yes, like fingerprint powder to show up what people have touched things, and scent amplifying solutions to intensify smell when going on an object. That's amazing. They're all very easy to use. There's just one thing that you have to be careful of. They're all very flammable. Mr. Sholmes is a walking bomb? Either he's passionate about finding out the truth or just oblivious to the dangers. Both. How do I get to the bullet? Look at that hole right there. It's really scorched badly just here. Oh, the strap is broken. Look. It must be where the bullet hit then. Let me see. There it is. There we go. Good job. What the? Iris, look! Behind where the broken file was. Do you see it? Ah, that's the Skoken Brothers bullet. So they opened up Sholmes for nothing, by the way. So he had burn marks, but no penetration. Why did you open him up then? What? What a stroke of luck that it hit his pouch. This is an amazing discovery. What this means is, there were 3 bullets fired at Windy Banks that night. We found exactly what the Joe was talking about. The 3rd bullet. It's time to press that juror again, I think. There we go. Found it. Please, my lord, a little more time. After all, that's a new piece of evidence. It could be a valuable clue, and you can't afford to overlook anything here, Ryunosuke. There's still a way to turn this around, somehow. I'm sure of it. Figure it out, boy. Okay, there we go. Let's do it. We got something. Press the girl. Found it. Allow me to show you, then, the 3rd bullet. Is that... Here it is. We discovered it just now. Yes, on the night in question in Windybank's pawnbrokery, another bullet was fired.
Hold it!
What? What is this new trickery, you Nipponese conjurer? Where did you find that bullet? It was lodged inside Mr. Sholmes' pouch. What? This pouch was removed from Mr. Sholmes' waist before he was taken to the hospital. And since then it has been touched by no one. Do you mean to say the shot fired by the Skoken brothers that night? Yes, as your lordship has surmised. It hit this pouch. But that makes no sense whatsoever. We already know the whereabouts of the bullet fired at Mr. Sholmes. It's clearly visible in this photographic print. Ah! 2 guns from the scene have already been submitted into the court record as evidence. Yes, that is Mr. Windybank and that belonging to the Skulkin brothers. An examination of both guns revealed that only a single bullet had been fired from each. Ah! But that just means... That must mean... That's right. We now know that on the night in question, 3 bullets were fired. However, only 2 bullets were fired from the guns recovered from the crime scene. And until that incontrovertible inconsistency is somehow explained, we cannot and must not pass judgment. Ugh. Oh! Grabbing his boob. Order! 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 While this submission examination remains incomplete, the court has been presented with new facts. Facts that would appear to shake the very foundations upon which the case against the defendant has been built. As is my prerogative in this situation, I hereby temporarily suspend the summation examination. By Jupiter! What? Bailiff, bring the witnesses back to the stand at once. the guy who's threatening to kill these two. And they're here again, round 3. Or round 4. Witnesses. Governor! Were you listening to proceedings while the defense carried out the summation examination? We was, Governor, we was. Perhaps we can dispense with the tedious preamble and simply answer this one question. A third bullet has been identified at the scene of the crime. What do you make of that? Make of it, Governor? I don't make nothing of it. No. Is it one of yours? Go blabber, go army. No chance. In that case, did you have an accomplice? What? What? Never! The Skogan brothers worked alone. It's just the 2 of us. That's a trademark. How soon we forget poor Sulky. Only 2 of the bullets from the crime scene originated from the firearms we have in evidence. The 3rd bullet was fired from another gun. Where is it? Lummy, that's a sketchy. Counsel for the defense. Yes. I should like to hear your thoughts regarding these new developments. The 3rd bullet, and the mysterious missing firearm from whence it came. Thinking back over all the testimony we've heard, and all the evidence we've seen, I think I'm starting to form a picture of what really happened that night. My lord, I think it's clear what this bullet tells us about the Skogan brothers. Secret accomplice, or it's nothing to do with them. Secret accomplice. Secret accomplice. On that night at Windybank's pawnbrokery, the brothers must have been working with a 3rd man. The witnesses are clearly doing their best to cover up the existence of this accomplice. But the evidence all points to the fact that there was someone else present. Someone carrying a gun.
Objection!
More wine. Where'd that come from? An accomplice, you say? Pig swill. These protracted proceedings have already forced us to endure 2 summation examinations. Yet in all that time there has been not a murmur of a 3rd man. This apparently wraith-like being exists. The court must be shown hard evidence. Without it, this fantasy will be crushed. The prosecution demands answers on 2 counts. Firstly, proof, evidence that this accomplice was ever at the scene of the crime. And second, the identity of this spurious character. Yeah, I can do the first one. The Skogans are lying, I know that. But how can I ascertain the identity of the person they're hiding? Well, counsel. I'm supposed to prove the existence of this accomplice, and reveal the person's identity even. In response to the prosecution's demands, my lord, the defense is ready to present answers. The defense is ready. I believe I can prove all the answers the prosecution demands. With bluffing. So, my Nipponese friend, despite the swimming eyes, you seem to think you have something to say. This promises to be interesting. Slap! I had to push forward now. There's no other option. I need to use every single piece of evidence available to me if it will make a difference. In that case, counsel, I would ask you to present the evidence without delay. On the night in question, in the moments leading up to the death of the victim, what proof have you that there was a 3rd intruder present at the scene? My answer is the blood.
Take that!
The evidence is right here, in this portfolio. By Jove, that portfolio again, is it? Do you expect the court to rifle through your papers itself? Be more specific. You claim one of these blood samples proves the presence of this 3rd intruder. Which one is it? That one.
Take that!
What am I looking at here? There appears to be some green paint or such like around the bullet hole in the middle of the calendar. That's a bloodstain, my lord. A bloodstain? Green blood? Curious even for you. Is the code to understand that the intruder was some unhuman creature? It's something developed by Mr. Herlock Sholmes. By the great detective? New invention, stop! Not yet appeared in story, stop! It's this, you see? It doesn't have a name yet, though. This Fargo sprays a chemical that reacts with the different elements in people's blood to change its color. Different elements of people's blood? Yes, everyone's blood is slightly different, you see? Because it's made up of different elements. Sorta. But by seeing what color it changes to, you can tell in a flash whose blood it is. Oh, that brings a whole new extra dimension to looking at blood. Talk of blood in courtroom, stop. Very exciting, stop. She's got a fetish. As an example, this one shows the blood of the victim, Mr. Windybank. A striking blue. Yes, so you see the green color of this bloodstain in the calendar. Shows that somebody else was shot in the main part of the shop. Now hold fire there, young man. Could be from some unrelated incident, couldn't it? No, it's not unrelated. The date showing on the calendar is the date on which Mr. Windybank was killed. By golly! Therefore, we're going to assume that whoever was shot on the same day. Hey, whose blood is it? Well, the Skulkin brothers in the stand don't appear to be suffering from any gunshot wound injuries. Which means it must be the blood of somebody else. The third intruder, in fact.
Objection!
Whose identity the court is still waiting to hear. You can't delay this any longer, my learned friend. Who is this alleged third intruder? Eggert Benedict.
Take that!
This a guy. The man's name is Eggert Benedict. Eggert Benedict? Who on earth are you talking about, Counsel? He paid a visit to Mr. Windybank's pawnbrokery on the afternoon before the incident took place. When the accused attempted to deceive the pawnbroker into releasing this article into her possession? That's right. The man identified by the defense, Mr. Eggert Benedict, then attempted to take the article from the defendant by force. Broker? Yes, sir? I believe this filthy pocket thief has just redeemed an article from you, no? Yes, the article in question belongs to me. I demand for it to be returned at once. That's a lie. What are you trying to pull? Give me back my overcoat, you wastrel. And needless to say. Any music box discs too. Oh, they pose just like him! Didn't catch that. Inspector Gregson was there at the time and can attest to what happened. In the end, it was the inspector himself who took the disc. Can you corroborate this account, Inspector? Yes, my lord. That's more or less what happened. And in the interest of being thorough, I asked Mr. Windybank for a print showing the fella. That's not the right voice. Taken from one of his red-handed recorder dishes. Yeah, that's the voice. There's the voice. Yes, that's him talking to Mr. Windybank that morning. And you claim this man is the brother's accomplice? Well, Mr. Skulkin? Never seen the geezer before in my life. On my life, girl, on my life. Never seen him. Well, somewhat unsurprisingly, it appears our witnesses disagree with the assertion. I'm sure your lordship recalls my learned Nipponese friend's actual assertion, which was that he could prove the identity of the alleged accomplice. Yes, and I can. Then show us the evidence. I agree. We must see proof that the clean-cut gentleman in the photograph is the filthy criminal you say he is. We got it, we got him, we got his ass, we got his ass! We about to get that ass. This is the last piece of evidence. I've had a feeling that something has been missing in this trial from the very start. But now, I'm going to drag it kicking and screaming into the courtroom. Are you ready to present your answer to the court then, counsel? Yes, my lord. The defense will present the evidence now. Proof that the man pictured in this photographic print was in fact the person struck by the third bullet. The disc. As I mentioned before, on the afternoon of the day in question, the defendant attempted, deceitfully and admittedly, to reclaim this disc from Mr. Windybank. Which is when the aforementioned Mr. Eggert Benedict appeared on the scene, I believe. This man then attempted to purloin the article from the defendant's possession, no? That's correct, my lord. I myself was present at the time. It was following this that a minor incident occurred. But of course, sir, here's the disc for you. Very well. Pose. Then I shall bid you farewell. Say goodbye to style. Wait a minute, that disc... Wait a minute, that disc... is mine. And she went right at him. Ah! What do you think you're doing, you little tramp? You've drawn blood, you filthy animal! He has gloves on, by the way, what the hell? Being a music box disc, it has countless small but sharp metal protrusions over its surface. Those protrusions caused Mr. Benedict's finger to bleed, and the resulting smear of blood is still visible on the disc now. Goodness, a bloodstain, is it? My assistant and I have just analyzed the bloodstain here in this very courtroom. Using my trusty Farga gun. Yes, and we added the results to this portfolio. I say... It's green. It's exactly the same color as the blood around the... It's exactly the same color as the blood around the calendar. The evidence is conclusive. The man calling himself Mr. Eggert Benedict, who was in Windybanks earlier the day, is the accomplice, who was present at the scene of the crime at that same night. With the music, hear those two brothers now, they're sweating buckets. Look, what are you talking about? It's boiling in here. My lord, it is the opinion of the defense that Mr. Eggert Benedict should be summoned to the courtroom to testify. It would certainly seem that we can ill afford to ignore this gentleman's apparent presence.
Objection!
This has gone on long enough now, this flagrant ignorance of the mechanics of law. Sherlock Holmes, you say? Yes, I've heard the name. The protagonist in a series of short stories of the vulgar classes? A god of detection of some sort, such? And now you employ chemical substances devised by this fantastical persona in the highest court in the land? Do you expect us to take you seriously? The samples made by this plaything are not fit to be called evidence. So the bloodstain turned a shade of green, what of it? Here's to your successfully proving that no other blood in the world would turn the same color. Ah, well... And pray, do not even think of suggesting that we should take Mr. Sholmes's word for it. Ah! Is he right? Is that congratulations? I don't know, I mean, he is a great detective. What are you talking about? We can't let him get away with that. I knew it would come to this. Of course Mr. Sholmes's invention isn't going to be recognized by any official body. But what other choice did I have? I'm just remembering what Father Christmas over there was just said before. Ha! 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 I'm not the only one! I'm not the only one who thought he's Santa! Ah, he's Santa! About how he was temporarily suspending the summation examination? In other words... The examination isn't over yet, is it? I was wondering when that would come in. Good grief. What did you just say, young girl? At an summation examination, the decision as to whether or not the trial continues is in the hands of the 6 jurors, isn't it? She is a smart little girl, so the way I see it, it doesn't matter what certain other people think of Harry's invention. At least, not for now. Yes, she's right. Young lady, you have quite the devious mind. What if I give you some coal? It really just comes down to one thing. Whether these ladies and gentlemen of the jury are convinced by what you say, Bruno. Is that about right, would you say? Or did I misunderstand something? Unbelievable! Mr. Sholmes' partner is a force to be reckoned with. Alice Wilson, sharpshooter. After that shrewd precise of the situation from an entirely unexpected source, it must be acknowledged that the previous summation examination has yet to reach its conclusion. This is absurd. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the court now looks to you for your final leanings in this matter. As proud citizens of Her Majesty's Britain, I'm sure you will come to fair and just conclusions. So then, state your final decisions in turn, please.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Woo!
Guilty.
Really?
Guilty.
Really?
Not guilty.
Thank you! Alright. Okay. Why is old man and that lady not convinced right now? Why? Still, a majority. 2 called guilty and 4 called not guilty. Such is the outcome of the summation examination.
Objection.
My lord. My lord, with all due respect, this is an outrage. The prosecution refuses to accept this decision. On what grounds? If these jurors are persuaded by some half-baked concoction devised by a pretender to real police work, then they are too ignorant to be trusted with the judgment of anyone's guilt. I'm sorry, Lord Von Zeeks, but the outcome of the summation examination cannot be ignored. This trial will continue. Alright. Alright. Even to the judge he can't stand up. Alright. Nevertheless, we find ourselves in a rather awkward situation. The defense has very reasonably requested the subpoena of a new witness. One we do not have. But sadly, I fear that will be impossible. What? The name of the gentleman gave for himself, Eggert Benedict, is clearly quite false. I don't believe it. Just when I'd managed to prove the man was there that night. Here's the thing. It's enough for reasonable doubt. So in our court, that probably would get her off. She'd get off right there. Could I say something? Who's saying this? Who was that? Please. Who spoke? It was me, my lord. Okay, we'll stop there. There's the cliffhanger. Alright, we'll stop right there. That right there is the game for now. It's also a good stopping point. What does she have? Alright, there you go. There's the game. For now, I had fun. Hope you have fun watching. That's what's up, Basit. Having fun. Thanks for coming by, and see you next time. Whew.